So we are live and also the recording. So, Dr. Preeti, can we see you? Fantastic. All right. So everyone, greetings of love, greetings of peace, greetings of happiness to all of you. Bonjour, hola, konnichiwa, zadravo, zadrasi, aloha, marhaba, salam, and namaste. Welcome to Chilparco International's Kryptonite show. This is season 1, episode 10, and this is the success dynamics of the educators. So a big welcome to all the educators, the leaders, the passionpreneurs from not only India, but also from Malaysia and Poland. Of course, the Poland educator will be joining us pretty soon. So a little information about Chilparco International. Chilparco International, from the child in you to the parent in me, and from the parent in you to the child in me. We believe in connecting the global community through humanitarianism, spreading smiles, enhancing self-worth, and reiterating that each and every soul is unique, that everyone has that unstoppable spirit, and that we all need to live a life where we all make our dreams a reality. Today, we have with us passionate educators from India, from Malaysia, and soon joining us will be an educator from Poland, who shall deliberate on global educational breakthroughs, challenges, what needs to change, and much more. We have with us from Malaysia, Miss Michelle Loom. From Poland to join us, Miss Dorota. From Agra, India, Miss Principal Kaushiki Sondi. From Gujarat, India, we have Principal Preeti Shrimal with us. And from Lucknow, India, we have with us Principal Sarit Ghosh. So now, educators, leaders, passionpreneurs, and versatile educators, tell us a little bit about yourself and your uniqueness. So I will begin with our friend from Malaysia, Miss Michelle Loom. So Miss Michelle, tell us something about yourself and your uniqueness.
Thanks, Elka. So nice to meet everyone here tonight. Well, I've been an educator, I would say, officially for about 14 years. But my son is about 21 now. So I think my first day of being an educator starts when he's born. So raising my two kids brought me into the education industry. I was very interested. Besides learning from both my children, I started my own education center in Kumon, back in my hometown in Ipoh. It's a small town in Malaysia. And after 7 years, it was time for my kids to go to international school. And at the time, I wasn't very confident of the conventional teaching system that they were going through. I decided to give them international baccalaureate for a try, and which is why we moved the whole family for their education as well as for my career into an international baccalaureate school. At the time would be the Fairview International School, Ipoh. So throughout that 7 to 8 years with Fairview, I've moved from marketing to operations to heading a school, engaged in the academic side, being the head of the school. But most importantly, I've seen kids growing from what they were and nurturing them into now they are all like in university years. So that comes in where Elka invited me as an educationist and no longer as a principal, because I've gone for an early retirement to look after my mom. Now I'm caring after my mom, and I'm just a passionate educationist. Thank you.
That's a 24/7 job, once an educator, always an educator, because you can just never, ever give it up. It's in you, it's inborn, and one never can let it go. So one finds ways and opportunities, and I'm sure you are still guiding and directing young ones, young minds, and nurturing them towards, achieving their goals. So that was wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us all the way from Malaysia. Great introduction. Yes, and now we turn to Miss Principal Kaushiki. So tell us something about yourself and your unique style.
Okay, so hello everyone, and for me, the journey was not easy. I never thought to be into an education field. I was an average student in school, and it started like I wanted to do something in management field and business management and everything. I opt for that, and I then did my chartered accountancy, and then I got married and moved to overseas. There I wanted to do something with NGO and with charity stuff, because I was on a dependent visa, so I got khali dimag, you have to do something. So that came into my mind, like, okay, I can help someone if I'm free, I have time, and I have a child with me. So I started that, and I understand one thing, that without education you can't change anything. For changing the mindset of a person, you first need to make them understand that education is something that can change your life. Nothing can, anything, you can have everything with education. So that makes me to have the environment and exposure about all these things. So I then did my B.Ed, and I started my teaching profession coming back to India in 2017. I did my teaching as a PGT, and I did a lot of webinars, lot of interaction. I started with a very small platform of, that Instagram live sessions. And then I understand, people interacting is something where we learn so much. You can't learn from reading blogs or, having any meetings or that kind of thing, but meeting people from other countries, meeting people from other kind of mindset, from their experience, you can just have all the things together at one time. Within half an hour, you have so much of knowledge from every field. This session would be giving us so much of things.
Absolutely.
So that was something interesting. And then I was like, okay, I need to be into a public speaking field. But then comes again a problem, because I was not a good speaker. So I used to, learn things, interact, start reading or doing work on myself. And that makes me, that actually makes me an educator. That was the time I learn and I work on myself. And step by step, I reach and have the interaction and networking with the people who supported me a lot. Like Alka, I've met you on many platforms. So that kind of interaction, meeting principals, and that made me to fall into having the universities outreach programs, having interaction with universities, getting into some NGOs. And now I'm interacting with more than 12 NGOs all over the world. Some from Africa, some from US, Germany. Even I'm working with universities right now, providing them outreach programs. So that happens again and again. And one thing I understand, that being kind, being humble, and being approachable at every time can make things happen and can bring a great difference. And nowadays, along with qualification, presentation is much required.
Absolutely.
Right. I never say to my children in school that, you should focus on hard skills. I always say focus on hard skills along with the soft skills. And of course, in India, we also require the life skills to happen. Because if your child is not good with the studies, then what is the next plan, better plan for them? So we have to teach them in that concept. And many things happen, meeting the people from very, very middle background of education and meeting the people from very high class background, and then finding the difference and making the difference to fall into a working process. That was my concept. So that was my journey, and I'm working on that.
Lovely. And I love the lucid talk about your own self, the honest talk that just came out of you. I think once we are genuine and honest and speak from the heart, I think we sort of transfer the same feeling to our students.
Definitely.
And nowadays, it's not about, putting on a facade. It's actually about being genuine. So say your mind, say what it is, because once you speak the truth, you'll never have to think that, I said on so-and-so platform, I said this, and another one, I said this. So I get So this
Alka, you will not believe,
technique.
I meet students who are like, ma'am, my English is not good. So how can I, go for that thing? How can I have that kind of career? I believe English and Hindi, whatever, these are languages. You should have the skill just to deliver yourself. Because the time I started, my English was, very on a very moderate level. I was not very good speaker. I believe having 1,000 good words with you can make you a good speaker. The thing should be, you should have the caliber just to deliver your things to the person. If you're reachable to the mind of the mindset of the person, that's the biggest thing you can do.
That's a good point you made, that we need to be approachable, because if we're not approachable, we're not going to really break the ice or cut the ice with students, with the people that we're interacting with as leaders, as educators. So I guess being approachable is something that we have learned now. Earlier, it wasn't like this. So, okay, thank you so much, Kaushiki. Let me move on to Dr. Preeti. So, Dr. Preeti, tell us something about yourself.
Hi, everyone. It was wonderful listening to Michelle and Kaushiki, and always a pleasure, Alka, to be on your show. Of course, today, like I was sharing with you, I have another commitment, so probably I'll just drop off maybe after I've heard
a little bit.
Yeah. Sure. So I think all of us are educators, especially me. It's been a journey of almost 30 years, and I have traversed various roles, profiles, like done it all, seen it all. And of course, in this entire process of learning and of teaching, I have grown myself, I have evolved a lot, and I have understood the nuances of how important it is to learn at every step of your life, at every step of your personal and professional career. So it's only when there is a merge, when we are able to amalgamate our personal skills and also the professional upgradation which is required. So I joined my teaching career as a raw MA student from Calcutta University. When you come out of university, you're fresh and you're raw with all sorts of ideas. And
yes.
You think you can change the world with that, probably with your processes, with the way you talk, with the way you are approaching things, because you feel, and you think that others are also following the same path that you have taken up. But of course, as they say, life is the biggest teacher. Life is the, of course, so much. And then I slowly, of course, grew professionally also. With a lot of opportunities were given, and a lot of challenges were given to me, which I took up, which I think all of us as leaders, as learners need to take up and give it 100%. Because when we convert those challenges into opportunities, we are able to, extend ourselves. We are able to sort of give it our best. And when we give it our best and we walk that extra mile, we achieve something magical and beautiful. So that's what happened. And then I did my MA and I did my PhD. And
wonderful.
Yes. And all was again with a lot of difficulty and challenges, because once you are you're married and you've got kids and you've got a family and you've got the responsibilities.
Yeah, that was a challenge we all had to go through. Yes, 90s.
But I think that all of us are custodians of the future generation. Because it's not us, then who? So we have to teach the future ready, make the children future ready. We have to ensure that these young minds who come to us, I mean, I keep saying they come to us as wet sand, as wet blocks of mud. It's up to us, as artisans, as sculptors, we have to chisel them into the best version of themselves. And I think all of us are still doing it. All of us are still in the process, and ensuring that we are able to develop, groom, nurture students with values, with the proper skill sets, ensuring that they're able to find their passion and they're able to be successful and happy. That's extremely important. Success does not always make you happy. So that's something which the youth needs to be taught, and which all of us have learned. So as custodian of the need of the future generation, I call myself the change maker. Still, there is
rightly said.
Yes, we have to change ourselves to be able to bring about a change in the students whom we deal with every day. So I think a long journey ahead, but all of us have still, we've taken up the kind of a mantle of, yes, going ahead, ensuring that we are able to groom, nurture, and create a generation which is humane, responsible.
Very important, that is.
Very, very important.
Humane, yeah.
They have to be humane, and
yes,
they have to be humble. And
humility and being humane are two H's that need to...
Absolutely. And they have to have that sense of gratitude. Yes. So I think...
Another of my favorite things.
Yes.
Sense of gratitude.
So I think miles to go for all of us.
Yes, absolutely. You're so right when you said that, we have to teach not only those facts to our kids, but, how to deal with certain things that will come across in life. Like I remember meeting a student of mine who told me, ma'am, that, you taught us so much in school about how to, be a good public speaker, how to study well, how to prepare for an exam. You taught us English, literature, poetry, all that. But I feel that you should have focused more on the soft skills, because what happened, I used to always stand first any competition that I used to go in school, but when I stepped into university, I went to a competition and I did not get any prize, and I for days together I was upset. I went into a depression. Why? Because we weren't taught how to accept failure. So I guess this is a life skill, one very important life skill that we need to teach our students, because especially during the pandemic, we're all going to be discussing this. This is what happened majorly in a big way. So you said that, and it just, I just was reminded of this incident which happened very recently with me. So my student was right. We need to focus more on soft skills as educators and change makers. So
I think what the world needs today is kindness. So that is something.
Yes, a lot of it. Dollops of kindness.
We all are running to come. We all are teaching our kids right now that, you have to come first in the race. We are not telling them, and that is something negative, I believe, because you are telling them, you should be better than the person next to you. You are telling them in a negative way.
No, they just have to keep learning. Like you said, you kept improving yourself. But
be the best version of yourself.
Talk to Mr. Ghosh also. Yeah. He's the only gentleman in the group, and we need to hear it from him also. Yes, Mr. Ghosh, about yourself, please.
Good evening to all the ladies out there. I was listening patiently to you all.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Dr. Anka knows about me. I am an alumni of Delhi University of the very famous Kirodimal College.
Yes.
And I've done my MPhil in history from the great Delhi University.
Yes.
And I have become a principal or an educationist by accident. I had joined as a journalist in NDTV, but suddenly I saw an advertisement in a newspaper for a vice principal's post in Bihar of all the places. And I was a person who used to take risk. So I just applied for it. And to my surprise, they accepted me. And I thought I'll work there for 6-7 months and come back. But I fell in love with education. And for the last 29 years,
thank God you did.
Otherwise, I would be
education needs a person like you.
Studio today, asking stupid questions. So I became education, and it became my passion. And students of Bihar are very intelligent. Today, most of the IAS officers are from Bihar. I realized
all those government officials,
yes, they all
IPS, IFS, yes, they all come from there.
They just need the proper guidance. They need the proper guidance.
Yes, absolutely.
And they have a problem of fluency of English also. Since I had a Delhi University background and I was into literary activities, I introduced everything in the school. So I became a hero there in Bihar. And that worked, and I really enjoyed my career in teaching. And then since my parents were in Lucknow, so I joined a school of the CMS group, which is the largest group in the world.
Yes.
So I joined CIS, City International, and then into various schools. And today I'm working in a semi-urban area. I want to help the students of the underprivileged, though this school is a good one.
Noble.
So I have 12 years to go, and I want to do something more for education.
Lovely.
And it's a great pleasure to meet such luminaries here. And we can do many things in the field of education. As we're discussing during pandemic, we have learned a lot of things. I didn't know how to deal with students, but we all are feeling the heat of the pandemic, but I'm sure we'll overcome it. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. So we all know one another. And I guess that's the amazing part as educators. I mean, like Dr. Preeti, it's been 3 decades for me as well in education. So, the power that one gets, you can never feel that you know it all, because every new day brings a new challenge. Every new day. I mean, you think that you know it all, and lo and behold, you step inside and there comes a new problem, and there comes a new kind of oh my God, I've never dealt with this before. And now you have to deal with that. So I guess we are all lifelong learners, but the most important, passionate educators. Now we all know that this is the 3rd year of the pandemic, because the pandemic is still there. It hasn't really gone away yet. 2022 seems very promising for education. I mean, most of the educators feel this way. Though we've had sporadic closures, we've had inequitable access to educational technology, distance learning tools, we've been maintaining our mental health of not only the students, but also the teachers. So let's just try to take a stock of the challenges, from all our Kryptonite guests on the show today. What do you feel are the challenges in the global educational scenario 2022? So I'll begin with Michelle. So Michelle, yes, it's over to you.
All right. So I think during the pandemic, because the kids had to go for online classes, the parents' readiness to assist in getting the kids transit from physical classes to online, and then to hybrid, and then to online again, that transition was not easy. So right. I believe one of the challenges that I would like to highlight would be the education to the parents, not just to the students. Many educators have talked about how we can help the students, but not many has spoken about how do we support the parents, because at home, the kids are with their parents. We need their kids to submit their homework. We need their kids to be ready for online classes, be very independent to do their work. So a lot of this comes from cooperation from the parents. And the parents, they were at that moment quite difficult to accept a different method. Also, they were part of the class. So in a way, when the teachers are teaching, the parents are sitting next to them, watching how the teachers are teaching and giving comments. Why are you not doing this way? Why are you doing that way? And so we were not just educating the students, but we were educating the parents at the same time. So after the classes, we need to communicate with the teachers, explain to them why we do what we do. We had to use extra time to convince the teachers that we know what we're doing, the parents, So I think that was one of the major challenge. And even after 3 years, now that we are back at physical, yes, the parents are very happy to send them back to school. But I believe the trust and the education that we have gone through is a continuous thingy. Because in the education background, we are moving towards the 21st century and then global education, edutech, and so on. But how ready are our parents to accept that? Because many parents are still thinking that my kids should get good grades, get A's in certain subjects, and then go for university, then maybe get a master's degrees, go to work, and so on. But do parents really understand what is education? We were talking about lifelong learners. I think parents have heard this word many times too, but can they accept, for example, their kids not going to university, and they tell their parents that I'm a lifelong learner and I don't need to go to the university. I don't want to study in a university anymore. Can parents accept that? So I think the challenge now as we move into a new era of education is also about educating parents. Parents are like us, we were brought up in a different manner, and we were very comfortable, like look at me, I'm fine. So what's wrong with you doing the same thing as I did? But parents still need to learn how to use the tech, still needs to catch up with things that's happening. Changes are just happening drastically, and we had to keep up. Yeah, so that would be what I think is a challenge now. Yeah.
Absolutely. Educating parents, you're so right. We need more orientations for parents, and you're right that they have heard the phrase lifelong learners, but they actually need to put it into practice, because we as educators, I think we had to really put our persuasive skills to a test. Our persuasive skills and our patience both were tested. You're so right when you said that. These two things, we had to take extra time. I think it was the job of an educator had become a 24/7 job. Sometimes it would be a student, sometimes it would be a colleague, sometimes it would be a parent, sometimes it would be one of maybe someone from the management. But you had to keep on doing it all the time. So you had that convincing thing and explaining thing had to just go on. So very rightly said. That's a wonderful thing that you've just now mentioned. But let's see what Dr. Preeti says. So Preeti, what do you feel? Michelle mentioned about educating parents. That is a challenge. What do you feel?
Yes, I think Michelle actually touched the chord. Am I audible? Yes.
Yeah, now you are.
The pandemic has actually, brought about a lot of changes in the mindset of the parents as well. Earlier on, the kids were, when the students would come to the school, they had that kind of a bond with the school. But in these 2 years, I think there has been a bit of a gap between the expectations of the parents and the kind of realistic situation which is existing there in the school. So definitely, parents need a lot of counseling, because even now, it's been almost 3 months since the schools have physically started. I still have, I'm talking about my experiences every day. I still have parents coming, actually calling up the school to find out, I hope my child is okay. I hope she or he has had his lunch or dinner. Then there are parents who will actually drop the child at the door of the school, and then the child not wanting to go in because wants to spend more time with the mother. And we have had to have all our counselors, sort of sit with these students, talk to them, share their concerns with them, make them feel a little comfortable. And the basic problem which we realized is that the kind of I wouldn't say too much of attention, but living alone with the parent at home has created a little bit of a problem, challenges in the way the children are now groomed. So they want more time at home. For them, it's moving out of their comfort zone. And same goes for the parents. They are just the younger parents. We're talking about parents of the primary, the upper middle school. So those are the parents and the students also. They're very uncomfortable, but I think it'll take a little time, and counseling is required. We need to give parents also that kind of support, the kind of an emotional, some emotional tips need to be given to them, make them feel, give them that confidence that yes, your child is safe here and will be taken care of in terms of his physical, his cognitive, his emotional abilities, the needs will be fulfilled. And yes, counseling has to be done, and not just for the parents, but also for the teachers, because they also need to develop different kind of skills, to be able to cope with this situation, because it's something which is very new. They are more used to going and completing the portions and teaching their curriculum, but now there's so much more which needs to be done. There's so much on their plate. So this is it's a kind of 360-degree approach. The parents need to be counseled, the teachers need to be empowered, the students need to be mentored, and of course the school needs to be a little more understanding, needs to be a little more empathetic, and embrace everyone within its fold. That yes, there's no problem. So long as you are comfortable, you want to come back to school, create a sense of love, create a sense of faith and trust. So the trust, the bridge of trust has to be once again set up and strengthened between the parent and the school.
Rightly said.
Yes.
Yeah, that's rightly said, because there's a gap that has come. So, somehow, though they don't want to, but yet, they will keep on questioning because, they're doubting whether their child is okay at school or not. So I guess, these kind of questions coming from parents, one needs a lot of patience again. Like I said earlier also, I think patience is something that we need in abundance, and persuasive skills we need in abundance. And we all have to be excellent counselors because it's all about counseling. It's all about active listening nowadays. So very beautifully said. But I know you have to leave us, though we don't want you to go. But before you do, just tell us one thing. What do you feel education would look like a decade from now? A decade from now, how would education look like? I know it's a little hypothetical, but what do you feel?
So I think 10 years from now, the students who are there probably in the primary grades should be more confident, should be able to be more responsible for their own learning, so they should become more passionate about what they want, be very clear, very, very focused that this is the career path. And we as educators and institutions should also gear them up, give them that kind of the counseling, show them their strengths and their weaknesses, and tell the child right from the earlier classes. We generally in the conservative environment, what we do is we wait for grade 10 and we wait for grade 11 to come. I think by then it's too late, because either the child has lost interest in what was once his strength, or we somehow lose the kind of focus which the child should have had we honed that strength or that passion in the child. Right. So I think 10 years down the line, we'll have parents accepting different professions for their children. We'll have teachers being a little more open. We'll have a new NEP in place, wherein, which will work more on the competencies, on the skills, on the talents, rather than focusing more on marks and admissions and processes wherein you are you have to be the best in your grades in order to get secure admission in your career or in your course, in your subject of choice. So I think a little more liberal approach in terms of the education scenario, and children who are very confident, very focused, and know exactly what they want. And
perfect.
Yes, that's what I'm envisaging.
Oh, that's being. I think one should always have an optimistic stand.
I'm very optimistic that
yes, we should always be eternal optimists, because once you keep on giving power to such optimistic thoughts, that is bound to happen. I mean, in some way, but it will happen. So thank you. That was powerful.
Thank you. It was a pleasure meeting all of you.
And thank you so much for being here on the show.
Sorry, but I regret.
So don't worry. We understand. We completely understand. And
I couldn't say no to you, but I know I love being here. And
I know. Thank you so much for that. For that love.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye. And also, I would like to introduce now, we have on the platform with us all the way from Poland, Miss Dorota Jankowiak. Hello, Dorota. Dorota? I just saw you, Kamal. Oh, okay. Maybe she'll join again. All right. So the same question now goes to Kaushiki. Kaushiki, what do you feel?
For me, I have seen that the biggest gap which I felt in education right now is that we are teaching our students or kids to, just being much oriented and much focused about the hard skills. Right. One thing you have mentioned already, that soft skills are most required, because in the coming time, these things are only which count in the resume, right? The first thing is the leadership quality, how you are communicating, how you are dealing with the external environment, all these things. And one more thing which should be added is the value added education, which is not provided from the very basic learning, because I believe when we are into our 30s, right? 30s, or when we have done all our education, now we are sitting in a professional seat, then we have a lot of other personal issues, like, having the depression phase due to, parental health, maybe we are dealing with some kind of health issues or something like that, or mental issues or relationship issues, anything like that. In that phase, we don't have any of our chemistry, biology, mathematics, or I think English is helping us. So what we are doing, we are teaching them how to earn. We are not teaching them how to live. So we should be much focused to tell them to deal with all these things. And in that phase, we can do kind of a workshops with people who have, dealt with these kind of issues and they have overcome them in a very better way and have a very good personality, motivational speakers, or that kind of people. We can call them in schools and have a live sessions, have live interactions, so that the students are already prepared in that phase. Whenever they encounter that kind of environment in their lives, they have the education about that thing, how to deal with them. Because we are seeing, Alka, that most of the students, I believe, they are giving their lives due to depression, maybe marks problems or any depression they are facing, and they are not able to discuss with someone. So we are actually not having anyone who is able to listen to them at this phase, this age. So we need to tell them how to deliver their internal feelings to the person, how to have a communication, how to have a good relationship. Because most of the students in this age, 16 to 18 age, they are very much isolated. They are getting isolated maybe due to mobiles or something like that. And this COVID have made them more isolated. We have seen one case right now in the news only, that one child have done, they were playing the game and the mother told them not to do that, and they had that issue. So that the temperament and the dealing process are getting very hyper right now. The children are not able to even have the interaction with the parents. They are like, why they are interfering in my life?
Right.
No, they are not giving the due importance to the parents at the very, very particular age. They need to have their guidance, and they are missing that. And we need to tell them that, okay, this is not a right track. This is a thing. This is a thing to help you, not the thing to live with. And when they are into our original life of 30s or 40s, then they understand the importance of life, and that part they don't have anyone to deal with. The parents are, they are having the health issues, or already they are gone from their life. So at that moment, they're very alone. So at the time you have the mentor, your mentor with you, they need to have the understanding of mentor. First of all, the parents are the mentor, first mentor, and then have the interaction phase. And dealing with that gap is the most important thing we need to have in our education system. And that can be only done by counseling, by having the one thing Michelle had mentioned here very rightly, that parents are not being involved anywhere in the dealing of education when we were doing that, right? So one thing what I felt is also there, that family engagement kind of a thing, which most of the USA, America, we have that kind of a process going on. Even the researches are going on in that process, where student, parent and teacher interaction, three-dimensional interaction is happening. Where every child is different. They're coming from different kind of background. Some child is coming from the home where there are economic, financial crisis. Some are coming from where the parents are separated. Some are coming where they have no good parenting. They're not happy. So every child is different, and we can't deal every child in a same boat. And the assessment, what we are doing, we are providing them the same paper, same kind of caliber and IQ paper to them, and we are waiting for the original result. And we are dealing, and we are making them understand that, okay, now you are into an intelligent phase, you are not an intelligent student. How can you do that? As an educator, I believe every student is different, and as an educator, we should go into depth, understand the parenting process, from which family they are coming, and then we should, actually deal with that kind of student in that way. Absolutely. So family engagement is very much required. Value-added education is very much required. And yes, we need to understand that students are different, and we need to deal them in a different concept. That's it. I think if we as an educator not understand it, then there's no way.
No, you're right. I mean,
right.
We truly, at Chilparco International, we believe that every person is unique. Everyone is unstoppable. Everyone has a quality within them, which sets them apart from others. And using that, they can help others also shine. So
we should really have the variety of assessment.
Yes, absolutely. You said the right thing. Yeah.
That's why CBSE has said, as per 10:1 ratio, that was the process actually.
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
and now what we're doing, right? We are doing 30 students for one teacher. And that's why we're not getting the result.
That's why when Dr. Preeti said a new NEP, actually, I'm hopeful also, because it has to change after a couple of years, considering that things change. But while we're saying that, let's welcome Dorota. Hello, Dorota. A big hi, a big welcome to you. Tell us something, tell everyone, we've been waiting for you. Tell everyone a little bit about yourself and what do you feel about the challenges in the global educational scenario?
Well, first of all, I would like to welcome everyone and sorry for being a little bit late, but we had terrible storm today and there was a power blackout. So I was kind of waiting for my computer to start on, but now it's fine. Well, I am a secondary school teacher in government school. I've been teaching for 20 years, over 20 years. My students are aged 15 till 19. And of course, during last 2 years, during pandemic, we can say that there were some big challenges ahead of us teachers. Though here in my school, the situation may not have been that difficult because we already were prepared kind of online classes we had before pandemic. We had platforms on which we worked at school, and once the pandemic just started, we switched into online classes, and there wasn't a big problem to students to connect because everyone got the access to the internet. Everyone had computers before, and well, what were the challenges during those years? First of all, depending on school, because I can tell you through my experience as a secondary school teacher called Liceum. So in my school, there are students of academic profile. So all of them are in the future students of universities of different disciplines. So the main purpose is to take A-levels exam, we call them Matura, and to get the highest grades. So my students are kind of motivated to work because the exam is the highest motivation. But there are, of course, some challenges. Some of them, it was that they weren't able to focus on class for many hours during the day because they usually had 9 classes per day. So it was difficult to stay in front of camera, though most of them were on cameras. But after a few weeks, we reduced the time on camera from 45 to 30 minutes to let them rest, get up, and do some exercises to make them aware of their health. Of course, we resigned from homeworks consequently because we decided as teachers that homeworks may let them work again another hours. So the homeworks were really for active students, for those who want to extend knowledge, and the lessons were, in that case, the only source of knowledge. But there were some problems when it comes to activities during classes, because some of them showed at the very early stage that they've got problem with cooperation in class when they are on camera. They felt very often shy. They felt withdrawn. They heard their voice and they didn't want to hear this. They were scared that someone may can laugh at them. And the big problem was for teachers to create the atmosphere for them to be really like in the class, so to feel free to talk about anything. Of course, from time to time, students were making silly tricks like recording themselves. It also was not a nice experience because then the recordings were online. And of course, we can say more about those problems as it happens in online world. But what I say about online classes and distance education, yesterday I had very big interview for one publishing house in Europe. This was not the first one because it was the 5th interview in which I took part about distance learning and about online classes. And this is program under the auspicion of BBC Learning English. So natives are in charge of this. And there were some questions about distance learning. One of them was about the digital software we used during classes and what we were prepared for this. And depending on school, because some of schools are vocational schools, some of them, and with exams also, some of them are like mine with academic profiles, the situation was very different. And the higher level of digital stuff, the better results we concluded. Another thing is that we observe a steady problem, continued problem of emotions, of some mental health of our students. We observe that they really get distracted very quickly. They isolate themselves from their peers because they feel comfortable in their zone, in their bedrooms. And during those 2 years, those situations in some cases of students, they grew even bigger. So they are right now under treatment. Whereas the rest of the students, after coming back to school, the first weeks were difficult to them because they started meeting up again. They started hanging out after classes, after school. But with our help, we organized some events for them as well in school and after classes. So we're kind of, parents. Yes. They had parties with teachers. They had some funny games, some special days. Like Alka may have seen that no school bag day at school. Yeah. So they didn't take school bags, but they took something else from home in which you were supposed to carry your course books. So such activities created kind of funny or friendly environment to them to familiarize with teachers, with school again, and we became to them kind of person who activates them some action. It was good, though I think the most important problem is happening right now. It means in some of the students we observed this mind loop. That mind problem in acquiring knowledge. This is post-COVID, of course, post-COVID symptoms. So from time to time, we have to refresh knowledge. We have to retell everything because I may have the impression that they do not remember what we were talking before. By the way, something like this happened also to me. So I observed that after one infection, which wasn't any serious to me. I didn't develop any temperature. I didn't develop any cough or so. I just felt weak over the weekend. Yeah. And after that, I observed this process of forgetting some words, which I wanted to say, but somehow I forgot what was it. Yeah. And I spoke to, yes, and I spoke to one of the teachers in Europe whom I am cooperating in another project. This teacher is from Spain. And she told me the same that happened also to her. So I think right now we can see those kind of problem, how to overcome this fear that you may not remember everything. So we activated a lot of extra things to monitor their thinking, to do some things mechanically. So those activities which we normally do in 4th, 5th grades in primary school, we had to right now retake in secondary school students what is to them something absolutely new, because normally they do activities rather for critical thinking, not for mechanical things. But I know right now, because last week we had the end of school year, I observed that it wasn't that bad, that young brain, young mind is developing very fast, even recovering faster than we older generations. So even if they from time to time they get right problem, we need to believe that these people deal with all of the health problems easier than we do. And we just have to believe in the process of healing. And our role is to provide this knowledge. And more or less that was like in Europe.
Yeah,
that's it.
More or less the same scenario happened all over the world, you know. And yes, we as educators, I think a lot fell in our kitty. We had to be extra vigilant, you know. I mean, I'll come to another question, one question, you know, about our own mental health in the process, though you did mention it a bit when you said that even I felt that there was I was at a loss for words. I couldn't think of what to say. I guess, you know, that too much of work. And, you know, like we're working, Michelle mentioned it, Kaushiki mentioned it, Dr. Preeti mentioned it, and you mentioned it too. I think at times, you know, it gets to even the best of us. So it's not that it just happened because we weren't vigilant enough. It happened because we were working like crazy, 24/7. But before we talk more, let's hear it from Mr. Ghosh also. What do you have to add over here as a challenge? And then we'll come to the breakthroughs. You're muted. You're muted. We cannot hear you. I think this was another thing that we learned, this new terminology.
I'm sorry. Yes,
am I audible?
Yeah. Now I think I'm audible.
Now you are.
Yeah. We were facing a lot of challenges. As ma'am was telling me, it is not only the parents who have become overprotective or the students who have become finicky. We as principals and teachers have also now overreact, right?
Yes.
Because 2 years we were glued to the laptops. No, we are people who used to move around in the school, take assemblies and all that. Suddenly we were in jail for 2 years, isn't it? And at this, getting used to online classes was a bit difficult in your late 40s. We were not even used to things like Zoom and things like that. I never heard of Google Meet and things like that. So, but
we were fast learners.
Yeah, but we were fast learners. And I had to lead by example because I was the principal. So, but I would like to congratulate all the teachers all over India. Everybody picked it up very fast.
Yeah.
We are very smart people, teachers. So everybody picked it up and then we got used to that. And as ma'am was just telling now about an incident in Lucknow, it has happened very near to my house. So I'm very aware of it.
Yeah.
Actually, the boy was addicted to some video game and his mother had just admonished him. And he used to ask money also. And she said no. And the most gruesome thing about it is he killed his mother. And then he had
that was terrible.
To remain silent. And he partied after that 2-3 days. And when the stink became unbearable, the neighbors and the police came. So I was really very worried what is happening in a B-grade town like Lucknow. So what will happen to cities like, you know, Delhi and all. But students, yes. One more thing, they have become a bit more aggressive now, particularly the elder ones, right? They don't like to be corrected and things like that.
Oh, yes.
So we
very valid point you made.
Yes.
They become a bit aggressive and they don't want to be corrected.
Yes, they don't want to listen.
You have to think and rephrase whatever you have to say.
Yes, how to deal with them. I have so many years of experience, but now I feel I'm a novice because now the children have changed. So we also have to change, right?
Yes.
What we have been doing for the last 25 years is different. Now children are different. And these LKG, UKG children have never been to school. Parents is to some But in school, they have become aggressive. They push their colleagues in nursery, LKG, because they were caged in a house. No, now they are coming in a common place, and parents are
freedom. Suddenly, everything is coming, and then they don't know how to actually deal with it.
We all are confused. The parents.
Actually, Alka and sir, over the time we have seen that we are not now process oriented. We are like we are clicking the button and we need the result. So students are not having that phase of waiting. They are just on an immediate basis of they want result, yes or no. They don't have patience to wait, or we were so.
The patience is out of the window, Kaushiki. You're so right. That nobody has patience. At times, I feel that even we don't have patience. At times, I feel that even we need to work on it.
I believe in the morning, my phone got, it switched off. And I was like, I was like, so even I was not able
hyper.
I was like,
I'm sure.
Switch off.
It happened to me also a week back. I was hyper.
So this is happening. We don't have that kind of phase. Okay, it will take time. Be relaxed.
I'm sure it will become all right after some time. Things will become all right.
Yes, you're right.
I'm very
optimistic. Yes, so if we're all optimistic, let's talk about the good things that have happened, now. What are those good things? So if we could briefly just dwell upon that. I'll begin with Michelle. She has been smiling and beaming, listening to all of you. So let me listen to what she has to say about the breakthroughs, the good things that have happened. So we're talking about the challenges, but definitely some good things also came out of it.
Yeah, I believe from the challenges that we've faced, we have come to a realization that the kids have really good self-learning ability and they're very adaptive.
Yes.
I think just now, even Kashuki and Sarit Mr. Gosh has mentioned about the kids being adaptive. And knowing this, I think it's a breakthrough because it tells us that we are underestimating the new generation. They have the self-ability to learn, and which is why our role is more as a facilitator, ensuring that they go the right way. And like what you mentioned just now, Alka, on persuasive ability, it's more on us thinking how to persuade them and influence them than telling them that this is how it is. 1, 2, 3, just do it, right? So, but it also tells us as educators that the kids can do much more than what we thought they can. So they are just not there to learn from us. They would be 10 times or 50 times better than us because they're very adaptive. So I think that's one big truth that we have realized over the past 3 years. And also it brings us to think of how we can enhance our education system better. For example, implementing flipped learning to get the kids to self-learn first before they come to school. And the school is more of a background, an opportunity for them to get together and apply certain skills rather than learning things that you can just read from home. Yeah.
Very articulately put, you're right. I feel that they have become more of leaders now. You ask them, you give them a task to do, and they do it superbly, especially when it comes to making a presentation in front of their classmates online or offline. I think the kids do a wonderful job. They come out with the most amazing of videos and, how they put their voiceovers on various images. I think I need to learn that from them still. I'm trying. I mean, I have improved, but I still feel I'm not up to their level. They come up with the most amazing of reels, one minute videos, which are just amazing, talking about the, whatever is being done in the classroom. You're right. I think this is the wonderful part that has come. And this is a huge breakthrough, and we need to really adapt to it. And we really need to give them more of a challenge, because if we give them roles that are boring and mundane, our students will get bored and they wouldn't want to learn. So we will have to keep the, this ability, the curiosity levels high, and how we do it is up to us as educators. So we have a tough role, we have a tough task to do ourselves. We cannot just sit still, twiddling our thumbs, doing nothing, thinking that, oh, everything is set and under place. We have to be on our toes all the time now. So what do you have to add to this, Kaushiki?
What I have observed in my school and what I have done during the hybrid kind of education, because sometimes the students are coming, sometimes they were not, and most of the time they were at home. So at that time, what we did focus on much more of the activities on the special days or international days, and we have that helping the poor during this period. So we ask students to go out and help at least 5 people. Kindness Day, we celebrated the Kindness Day. That kind of awareness we have seen in children, because we were not reachable to them physically, but mentally what can we tell them, because we were consuming all the time that negative things. COVID have come, I don't know what will happen, we will go to school or not, you should not touch them, we should have maintained the distance. So these kind of things, even in this home we were discussing. So children over the time were very negative. Even we were like that. So we have had that area where we were letting them consume something positive by doing something good. And we shut down and ask parents to not to show them any negative news during this period. Let them be them. Let them be just free from mind.
You're right.
When you are free from mind, they will consume something or they will create something, then they can do something. So we ask them to focus more on the projects, have the self-learning. We conduct a lot of webinars where we have seen they interact, they have the networking. Now more of my students are not on FB, but they are on LinkedIn. So these kind of things we had over the time. We let them understand the benefits of social media. How can they have the career in that? We have more of the students with the conventional kind of career, like making the YouTubes, having the 1 minute video. Before doing that, they learn. So they are consuming something good. During these 3 years, we don't let them have the negative news with them or negative things with them. We let them understand and explore themselves and do something. And we ask them to make the PPT or create some video, and then we will deliver to the school. So
that's what gives them, that special feeling that,
special feelings of appreciation,
I feel, Kaushik, you're so right. And Michelle also mentioned it, that, when they made, did something on social media, I think they're better than us.
Right.
More likes.
You will not believe, my students, they are making, they know everything. I'm like, okay, how to do this, and they know better than me.
Yeah. You're so right. What do you have to say, Principal Sarat Ghosh? What do you say to this?
Ma'am, I fully agree to what you people are saying. Children and we all have become tech savvy, and children are very, very informative.
Yes.
Today I got to grade 4, and there was a girl who asked me about the presidential election. She knew everything about Draupadi Murmu. I never knew anything in grade 4 when she told me about Draupadi Murmu and how she was from Odisha. I said, where did you read about it? From the social media. Because nobody in the school told her anything about. I was really surprised. A grade 4 girl telling me about Draupadi Murmu. Many of my teachers wouldn't know anything about Draupadi Murmu.
You're right. At times you
there are a lot of positives
are learning
also
from them.
Yes.
You're right. I think this is a breakthrough that even us, we have to accept that we're learning from them now. And learning.
Yes, ma'am. We always learn from students.
And it's okay. It's okay, because we keep on saying that life is lifelong learning. I mean, we keep on learning. We keep on saying to strive, to seek, to find, and never to yield. Well, this is a real
something, two-way communication, two-way kind of exchange of messages is happening right now.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Dorota, what would you like to add to this, my dear? Dorota? A good thing that has come out of it, of all this tinkering with change, tinkering with post-pandemic changes. Dorota, are you still there? Okay, maybe we can come back. Now, one question which is very important. We've been talking about parents, we've been talking about students, we've been talking about our, generally the school policies and all. But how will the policy makers, in school, how will the policy makers frame something to do with policies that can make teachers, the educators, also be happy? We talk of a happy, joyous learning experience. But what happens when the self-worth of a teacher comes under attack? What happens when a teacher becomes jobless? What happens when she or he gets much less than they deserve? What happens about their mental wellness? Because when they're nagged all the time and they're told that, oh, you don't know how to do this, you haven't learned this, oh, this is not good enough, and this is shoddy work. How What about the transparency? You know, we've noticed that in private schools, especially the private school sectors, because where we have families, you know, sort of ruling, there's nothing is transparent. Rules are made as per convenience. And I think the pandemic was a time when it was easier for them to just throw out certain people that they felt from whom they were insecure, number one, from whom they thought that, you know, okay, we've had enough of them, and, you know, they ask questions too much. You know, so they wanted to get rid of some people. They thought that this was the best time. They just say, oh, you know, it's a pandemic and we don't have enough money. And so this happened. So there was no transparency in rules. So how can, I want some views from all of you. You're all wonderful educators, leaders, change makers. How can we make rules for teachers also? Because, you know, they need to be given their due. We're talking about they're working like crazy for the children to be happy, for the parents to be convinced that their child is in safe hands. So what do we do for this, for the interest, for the welfare of our teachers, of our teacher fraternity? What do you suggest? So, you know, this video is being live streamed, and I'm sure that I'm going to be spreading it throughout. Let the policy makers, let the governments, you know, understand that these things need to be implemented. So I would need some strong points from all of you. So I'll begin with Michelle again. Michelle?
So we're talking about what policies makers can consider in order to make it fair to the educators.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think you mentioned as well on how to ensure that our educators are happy.
Yes.
I truly believe that educators are educators for the reason that we want to educate the kids.
Yeah.
And so we are as a good exemplars to our kids. And in situations like this, yes, there are people who use harsh words. They are probably rude to us as well. I believe it's a time for us to relearn what we have learned and be reflective. This is what we always teach our students, but are we practicing it ourselves? That's how educators can keep up with being happy. I mean, our satisfaction comes from knowing certain things, certain challenges, and overcoming it, and then seeing breakthrough in our students. So being happy, yes, salary is important, job secure is important, but I believe if you're good at what you're doing, you don't have to feel insecure. All right, so for educators—
No, it's not a question of the educator feeling insecure. It's a question of the organization where they're working. People feel insecure. Because this has come from many educators all over the globe, you know, this point. That's why I am asking all of you. It has come up.
That the educators are feeling that the organization is insecure?
Yes. Because for whatever reasons.
Yeah, I guess many parents have decided to pull out, and because of the travel restrictions, the numbers of students in the international schools has gone down, and they are cutting down on human resource as well.
Yes, that's true. In some cases, it's absolutely genuine, but in most of the cases, under the guise of being genuine, it's being done. We've had educators, you know, even I don't know in Malaysia, but most of the countries, you know, most of the educators have talked about this. So that's why.
What is happening right now, we want many things together in one teacher or one educator. We need them to be very smart. We need them to dress in a proper manner. We need them to be updated as per the new rulings and everything. So what happened? We are being much comparative as compared to the knowledge. As I told you, nowadays it's not about qualification; it's about presentation. You know, so now
it's more about the packaging. It's not about the content any longer.
Right. So
it's more about the packaging.
Yes, what happening as the schools, you know, good schools, they want their teachers to be presentable on the first priority list. Whether they have what I have observed when I was searching to be on from teacher to principal. That was my journey, and that was my what I have learned and I have observed over the time, that most positions are being occupied and being taken by personal links. First of all, I'm being open to it. I don't know what will happen, but that is for sure. Somewhere there are personal links. That is happening. Otherwise, the kind of presentable you are, or active on social media you are, that is taking the place. Your qualification and the general knowledge, what a person requires for the particular position, are being overseen or are being ignored and not being valued as compared to these things right now. So I believe that is what's happening. And yes, the educators are being less interactive, or they are not giving their best, because because there is a policies of 1 year of delivery of your education, and they will be giving you that PF, whatever, your reserved things or your certificates. So that makes them very much, because everyone is coming from different family. They have so much to do and some problems or anything. So they are like, okay, we have to take 6 months. We are just dealing with the, we are just doing it for the money's sake. So that kind of mindset they are taken and coming. So that's why they are also not being genuine to the organization. So organization should be very much open. They should provide them what they deserve, what they have done. And that should be very much on a freedom basis. I think many restrictions and many rules make the person, to manipulate the things.
Yeah, you're right.
We are providing them the freedom. You do one, we will give you the output of one only. You do two, we will give you the output of two.
So you give them a task and tell them that you have freedom, but you must share what you're going to be doing.
Right.
As long as the end result is what we want, that you have trained the kids well, you have been a good facilitator, you have ensured that you have been, instrumental in shaping their personality, in bringing out their
what I've done, I have provided my teachers a platform. In my school, I have taken this at my personal level. I have told them, if you are coming from a home and you are mentally not able to cope with the classroom due to any of your personal problems, right? So don't take out your anger or frustration on a child. Just take a break.
Yeah, that's an important thing.
That's okay. No worries. We will take the class. That's okay with us. But don't do that, because they are not taking the holiday leave because of the salary. They need the money also. So we should be very much helping, and we should not be like principal and why you are not taking the class. You should be sitting in the class. We can't be like, we should be very much friendly on that area, because many people having different kind of problems right now in the COVID period. Even they are struggling. Even the educators, even we have suffered a lot on a financial basis. So we should be very much helping at that time, and we should provide them the platform of being relaxed if you are not feeling to teach, and there is a majburi of coming to school.
Right, perfect. Wonderfully said. What do you add to this, Principal Ghosh?
Ma'am, to begin on a personal note, I have been guilty myself, because we principals have been pressurized by the management.
Right.
To get rid of various teachers, and I confess I have done that. I know it was wrong, but then what to do?
Right.
And teachers were paid less, 60% of the salary, then it went up to 80%. The management that we are not getting fees, Mr. Ghosh, that this is the situation. I thought the medium-sized school, but even a big school like CMS, they had laid off 440 teachers from their various 60 branches. So when I add on Indeed, I got hundreds of applications from CMS teachers who are highly paid, and suddenly they lost their jobs. I don't know about other cities, but in Lucknow, it was a very common phenomenon. Most of the private schools could not pay 100% salary, 70-80%, and many surplus staff were laid off because the classes were shifted to online. So if it was section A, B, C, D, they would ask two teachers to leave. I have also done that. And with two teachers, we used to make them teach from 8:30 in the morning to 4:30 in the evening. Most of the schools have done that, ma'am.
Yeah.
And I hope these things do not happen. There should be more transparency in the management, because they said we don't have money. But when the surplus money comes, where does it go? It should be for the welfare of the teachers. So this was a horrible time for teachers. But I hope everybody has got,
You see, if we need to give a happy, joyous learning experience to the children, like Kaushiki said, we need to be happy ourselves. It's not
should be happy, no?
passion for money, but at least a little bit for all the efforts that we put in. Any kind of incentive is always, welcome. I think a person always loves, so supposing you get some kind of an appreciation, some kind of an incentive from the school for the work that you have done well, from the university that you're working for, and you have got some kind of an appreciation and incentive, it always makes you work even more, double, triple than the efforts that you've already been putting in. So, I guess little incentive from time to time, and we understand the situation was such that all educators understood that, certain things could not happen, but at least let their self-worth be intact. This was not there for most of the cases. Most of the educators, I'm a psychotherapist as well. I had so many of educators coming and saying that they were depressed. Why? That their mental health was under attack. Why? Because their work was not appreciated. Like they're working 24/7.
Yes.
And when there is a mental blockage, like Dorota mentioned. So you have to give the devil his due. What I'm trying to say is that we are all human beings and we can make mistakes. And it's okay to make a mistake. If I'm doing work well, and if after doing 10 tasks, in the 11th task, I make a mistake, it's okay. I'm a human being. This is what was not understood by most of the people. So yes, what we needed to do, like we were all talking about being more humane. We're talking about being more compassionate. We're talking about being kind. So this is what was required. It's not only the monetary part of it. It's also enhancing the self-worth of an individual. So even if you don't pay anything, you just say that, we'll pay you, but it might take some time. But do you think you can still keep on working? Don't you think that could, a little positive
Definitely.
could have helped? At least would have helped the teacher's mental, for the mental sanity of the educator.
I believe that being, little friendly and just sitting with them and telling them we are with you, we are suffering, and
that would have been more than enough.
Exactly.
Because while we're working for a noble cause, we also need that kind of appreciation coming to us. It works both ways. You give your student appreciation, the child will do much better the next day and will keep on improving and improving and improving. That's how it works. Like we keep on, giving accolades to our children who come up with such fantastic presentation skills. I think they're doing amazing work. And look at the way they're just becoming better than the best now. So this is what is required. As counselors, as I think we're almost like mental health experts now. And, we really need to be active listeners, and we need to not only be active listeners to our students, to our parents, but also to our fellow colleagues, and also to, people who are, let's say we're leading a team, then even to the people who are in our team. I guess we need to just remind ourselves of that. So it doesn't take too much. And we're not even asking a tall order. It's just that we need to be compassionate and humane and not keep on slandering and criticizing and compartmentalizing, educators. We cannot do that because no one can be compared to another. So what Michelle has, Kaushiki may not have, what I have, maybe Dorota doesn't have, and what Sarit ji has, maybe Preeti ji doesn't have. So, we all have our unique quality. And this was the purpose of the discussion today. Dorota, if you're there, we would love to hear from you.
Dorota sent a message saying that the connection is
I just sent you a message.
Okay. I turned off the message. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. So let's round up now. Thank you. It was lovely having you here. But before we say bye-bye, a kryptonite message from you to everyone, a powerful message to all people all over the globe, especially when it comes to education. So it could be for educators, for parents, for students, and even for your fellow colleagues. A powerful kryptonite message. And I'll begin with Michelle.
Yeah, so from the conversation just now, when you were talking about the global changes and the schools and appreciating that stuff, I was thinking in my mind that there's nothing much we can do about the situation. Those are external factors, but I do agree that there are things that the management could do. And it just brings me to a reflection that the one word that I would leave with everyone today would be the word coaching. As in, we as teachers, we coach our students. We also mentioned that we need to coach our parents on how to support their kids. At the same time, as management, we need to coach our teachers so that they know how to go through these difficult times. So how we treat our students is also how we treat our teachers. So it's a learning environment throughout. Thank you.
Thank you. That was wonderful. Wonderful. Yes, Kaushiki, what do you have to say?
Okay, this is to everyone. I think for educators, for children, for students, and whoever can, understand, linked up with the same thing, that actually we have physically evolved as a person, and now we can't be an alien. We are at a better version of being human. But mentally, I believe still we are with that phase of, having only focused about the prepared and invented and already discovered knowledge. We are exploring and working on that only, and we are telling them to read again and learn that history and chemistry, but what already been explored by people, and we are telling them, see, that person have done that good kind of thing. We are not letting them evolve themselves, so we should let our child to explore themselves, have that kind of mindset and external interactions where they can know, and they should know, someone have taken the first step. Yeah. Someone has made the plane, so they have taken the first step. Facebook was created. So let them create something new. Maybe there's something better waiting for them. So don't tell them this is the better version world has created. Let them explore, let them be your better version themselves and work on the soft skill and the life skill. That is for me. And if your child is not good with the education, there are many more things waiting for them. Don't just pull them, to do the hard skill and have the certificate of 99%, because even I was an average student. So I don't believe that education is all about having the hard skills with it.
Yes, Principal Sarit, what do you have to say? Your kryptonite message for all of us?
Ma'am, I have learned a lot from today's webinar. And what I learned is we should appreciate. From tomorrow as a principal, I will appreciate my teachers more and my students more. You have told me, ma'am, everybody's, maybe financially we could not help them, but we could have pumped them a bit more. I did not do all that, but from tomorrow I'll surely do it. I've learned a lot from today's.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you very much for showing me the way.
Yeah, no, you also have shared. So I think all of us have been instrumental in sharing some points which will help us further, because see, we all learn from one another. And that was the idea of this little panel discussion that we had on the Kryptonite show. And it truly was a Kryptonite session today. Thank you to all of you, to each and every one of you. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. It was wonderful. This is the first time, but hopefully you're going to be here for our wireless debate also, which we will be having in the month of July. And I would definitely like you to be there and be an observer over there. So yes, and all of you, yes, you all, Kaushiki also has come for the first time. Kaushiki, I want you to be here now forever. And Principal Sarit has been with us and will be with us forever and ever. And
thank you, ma'am.
Such fantastic people. It is so wonderful that we can keep learning from beautiful people with witty, gritty minds who have a beautiful, not only a beautiful exterior, but a beautiful interior. And so everyone out there, educators, leaders, change makers, people, everyone, ladies, gentlemen, do learn something from our Kryptonite message today, and do stay tuned to our Kryptonite shows. So this was season 1, episode 10 of our Kryptonite show. And we had on the show from Malaysia, we had Michelle from Poland, we had Dorota from Agra, we had Principal Kaushiki from Lucknow, we had Principal Sarit Ghosh, and from Gujarat, we had Principal Preeti. So thank you once again to all of you. Have a wonderful, wonderful time ahead, a beautiful life. More power to you. Keep empowering, keep loving, keep spreading knowledge, keep learning, keep growing, and stay tuned and be with Chilparco International on the coming shows and coming events. Once again, a big thank you, everyone, and hasta mañana till we meet again. Bye-bye. Take care of yourselves. Stay happy, stay blessed. Bye-bye. Thank you once again to each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Michelle. You were amazing and it was wonderful interacting with you. Thank you, Principal Sarit. Thank you and bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.